What weird childhood fear do you still kind of hold on to? Going out in the dark outside. Most of the time, it doesn't bother me. However, there are some nights where it just starts gnawing at the back of my mind, even though I know the chance of anything happening is slim to none, and I scurry to and from where I need to go. There was a line in a Goosebumps book about a monster eating your toes while you slept. Bothered me enough as a kid that I still can't sleep with my toes poking out of the blanket. I'm 32. I'm still kinda scared of escalators. My husband makes fun of me for it, but I'm scared something one is going to get caught on them. When I was a kid, my mom told me that I had to be wary of getting my shoe/clothing stuck in them. I've always been afraid of escalators since, and I'll take the stairs instead. When my ex was a kid, his mom gave him the same warning. His response was to deliberately dangle his clothing into the escalator to see if it would suck him up. There are two very different types of people in this world, clearly. I'm afraid of the pressure cookers, especially when they whistle out the steam. The story is it was my birthday and we were cooking goat meat and the whistle got blocked, and it was kinda like a bomb from there. My friend's mom was injured heavily when one of the pressure cooker exploded, so I had a bit of fear already. The fact that I cold died on my birthday gave me a mental scar forever. Old pressure cookers were ridiculously dangerous. It's crazy that anyone ever used them. Most modern pressure cookers are built with about a bajillion safety measures though. I get if, after what happened, you never want to go near another one again in your life, but maybe it's at least a comfort knowing that what happened to you isn't going to happen to people anymore. I have a good modern pressure cooker myself, and it's really nice to know that I couldn't make it explode even if I tried. Okay, so hear me out. I had a recurring nightmare as a child that I had a nightmare and had to walk to my parents' room. When heading to their room, wolves would jump out of our boiler closet and eat me, so waking up from that nightmare I would sit in bed as opposed to going to my parents' room as I was too scared. Still to this day, when getting up to the bathroom at night, I think something will jump out from behind the door and murder me. Dolls. My sister had this one that used to talk, and it had a creepy light in its chest. I swear it used to start talking by itself. I remember finding it talking one day in my wardrobe, and I had no idea how it got there. In hindsight, it was probably my brother being an asshole, but at the time I was convinced it was haunted or something. I was terrified and didn't want it anywhere near my room, so I flung it down the stairs. Even now I find dolls creepy as shit. I'm terrified of answering the door if I'm not expecting anyone. When I was a small child, maybe 5 or 6, we lived in a really rough neighborhood. One day, my parents dragged my siblings and I away from our toys in the living room and forced us to hunker down in the hall for the better part of an hour as someone banged on our door, as if they were trying to tear it down. I didn't get what was going on at the time and thought that maybe the person would go away if we just answered the door, but my parents refused. It wasn't until later that my mom told me it was a drunk man knocking on our door. Not too scary, right? Well, it turns out that we had a bottle of lighter fluid outside right next to our grill, and this guy had tried to set our door on fire to either get in, smoke us out, or just burn the apartment down with us inside. Thankfully, the bottle was empty and the guy eventually gave up and left, but even now at 20, I instinctively freeze up and refuse to answer the door unless I'm wearing shoes to make an escape, my keys, my phone, and have a weapon of some sort within reach in the event that things go south. While I know that the chances of something like that happening again are slim, I just can't shake the fear that I'll be too trusting one day and open the door for someone who intends to harm me. Poor quality surfboards. Growing up surfing as a kid, I was told by asshole older kids that sharks are attracted to real McCoys, which are like the generic name brand for blue foam surfboards for beginners that you kinda start out on as a kid. So every time I paddled out, I was looking for sharks. Then I finally got a real board for my 9th birthday and thought I was invincible. But whenever I see a kid's foam board, sharks. Car windows. Okay, let me explain. So when I was 5, I loved to draw on the car windows of my brother's car with my finger because it was winter and the windows got all foggy. Apparently he didn't like that I was leaving fingerprints on the windows, so he told me that the chemicals on the windows would make my fingers fall off. I was mortified, and I never touched a car window ever again. I even traumatized my friends by telling them. Even to this day, I cannot touch a car window without awkwardly wiping my hand off on my shirt. Thanks Gia, you scarred me. Looking in a mirror at night. I'm absolutely terrified of seeing someone standing behind me, be it a ghost or a living person. It scares the shit out of me so much I have to close my eyes at night. When I go to the bathroom, I have to sleep with all my doors, including the closet door, closed shut and locked at night, because I'm afraid of ghosts/people coming in my room. Driving past cemeteries, I always hold my breath to prevent ghosts from entering my body. Don't know if this counts. Swimming and video games. Super Mario 64 fucked me up when I was a kid and made me terrified of fish monsters when on one level Mario was swallowed by a giant red fish with goddamn sunglasses. Something so silly made me so scared. I could barely get myself through Beyond Good and Evil, would get scared in Skyrim. When I'd come across the slaughter fish in Sekiro almost made me cry with the carps that aren't even that big of a deal. It's not that bad anymore, but I still have major anxiety with water in video games. Still ridiculously happy that there are no fish enemies in Breath of the Wild. I have too. When I was 6 I watched a fake documentary on the chupacabra. This one flied, bullets went through it, and it was from space. I was so terrified that I was convinced it would come for me despite being on the other side of the world. This carried into a fear of the dark and major nightmares and night terrors. The other one was I watched a horror film with weirdly aggressive lamprey. In one FO the scenes they went up a toilet and dug into a guy who was taking a shit ass first. Now I have to flush the toilet, wash my hands really quickly, grab the towel and book it. Walking on those sewer grates on the sidewalk. I'm always scared I'm going to fall in because a kid fell through one when I was younger. The funny thing is, a few days ago, I was picking up my kids from school with my mom. There was a bunch of kids standing on a grate, and my mother tells them don't do that guys. Didn't you hear about the little boy who fell into the sewer cause he stood on one of those? And I realized there was probably never a kid who fell through. She made it up because she's scared of them. And now we are passing that fear on to another generation. Look, man, you don't just go into an unlit basement, not when there's a perfectly good light switch right there. Sure, you can probably find the pull chain for the light at the bottom of the stairs, probably, but why take that risk? Even 5 feet is too far in a pitch black basement. Who knows what could be down there? Not exactly a childish fear, but when I was 4 years old my stepdad told my brother and I that if we kept fighting all the time we would get piss ants. According to him, piss ants climb into your bed at night, burrow under your skin, and piss in it. That's what pimples and zits come from. He said they are attracted to negative emotion and anger, and that's why teenagers always have so many zits. It was more than 20 years ago, and to this day I have a crippling fear of insects under my skin. Going to the bathroom during the night. I live in the same house from years ago but it still creeps me out. The bathroom is right outside my room and the stairs are on the very right. I remember one time as a child I heard noises coming from the stairs, and I swore I saw a figure standing there. Ran to the bathroom, and stayed there until my mom found me gone. It's not like I'm scared of the dark or anything. Not knowing if there's really something on the stairs or not creeps me out. Dentists. One of my first, if not the first, not sure, experiences with a dentist was an unnecessary horror show. Thanks to someone that shouldn't even be a butcher. I mean all the anti-dentite jokes applied to that fuck. To this day, I'm deathly afraid of dentists. I can't keep my mouth open without starting to shake. I had knives pulled on me, and I didn't get scared that much, but the dentist made me want to scream and run away. I still get freaked out by some of the logos after the credits of TV shows. I can't easily explain it. I just get this weird dread when the credits are coming to an end, and then the logo appears, and it feels like I'm somehow about to die. When I was little, after the credits to Rugrats I would get so freaked out by the 1990s classic Xupo logo. Not the legitimately scary robot logo, but the one before that where it was just the company name against a white background, and it would go silent and fade to grey at the end, that I would hide under a blanket and hyperventilate until it was off of the screen. A few years later I was deeply unnerved by the William Street logo. It's not that the loggers are truly scary, necessarily, to me. It's how sometimes they are outdated and look somehow decayed or forgotten. For instance, the legendary Viacom V of Doom, which looks and sounds like it has been severely warped by time. Special versions of closing loggers made for the final episodes of TV shows especially bother me. Maybe this is a weird manifestation of a fear of entropy or something,